He was sitting by the window, alone. No visitors, no flowers, not even a name on the door, just a fading tag taped crookedly to the wall. I wasn't supposed to notice him. I was there for someone else. But something about the way he kept looking at the hallway, like he was waiting for someone who wasn't coming, made me stop. "Excuse me," I asked the nurse quietly. "Does he have family?" She hesitated, then shrugged. They stopped coming. That was all she said. Stopped. Not couldn't, not passed away, just stopped. I don't know why it stayed with me. Maybe because I'd heard that word before, in different ways, different places. I came back the next week, told myself it was just to check. He was in the same chair, same window, same empty look. "Hi," I said, stepping closer this time. "Do you mind if I sit?" He didn't answer, didn't even look at me. But he didn't tell me to leave either. So I stayed. 10 minutes turned into 30. I talked, about nothing, about everything.
He didn't respond, not once, but when I stood up to go, his fingers moved slightly on the armrest, like he noticed, like he knew. So I came back again, and again, every week, alone. It wasn't until the second month, when he finally looked at me, really looked, that something shifted. His lips parted slightly, and in a voice barely there, he said one word, a name, not mine, but one I knew very well. Daniel. My stomach tightened the moment he said it. Daniel, my husband's name. I didn't react right away. Didn't want to scare him back into silence. Instead, I leaned in slightly. "Daniel?" I repeated softly. His eyes stayed on mine, but they weren't fully present, like he was looking through me, trying to place something that kept slipping away. "Where is he?" he whispered. The question hit harder than I expected, not because I didn't have an answer, but because I did, and it wasn't a good one. I forced a small, careful smile. A lie. Or maybe not a lie, just incomplete. He nodded faintly, like that was enough, like he didn't need more. That hurt, because it meant he was used to not getting more. I sat back slowly. "Do you remember anything else?" I asked gently. He frowned, eyes drifting toward the window again. "Home," he murmured. "Big house, noise, then quiet." His fingers tightened slightly against the armrest. "Too quiet." I swallowed. "Do you remember your name?" He didn't answer, just shook his head once. Barely. I sat there for a long moment, then reached into my bag, pulled out my phone, scrolled through my contacts, found Daniel's name, stared at it. My thumb hovered over the call button. Then I looked back at the man, at the way he kept staring at that empty hallway, waiting, always waiting. I locked my phone, put it away. Not yet, because something about him told me I wasn't ready for that conversation, not until I understood why no one had come back. I didn't tell Daniel. Not that day. Not the next. At first I told myself I needed to be sure, that I couldn't just walk into our house and say, "I found your father in a nursing home, alone." But the truth was, I already knew, the way the nurse had said it, the way he waited by that hallway. This wasn't confusion. It was abandonment. So I kept going back, every week, sometimes twice. I brought small things at first, a warm blanket, fresh fruit, a radio that played soft music. He never said thank you, but he listened. And slowly, he started remembering pieces. Not clearly, not in order, just fragments. "A boy," he said once, eyes fixed on the ceiling, always running, never still. "Daniel." Another time. Voices, arguing, then doors closing. That one stayed with me, because I knew that sound too well. One afternoon, I brought an old photo album. Not his, mine, family pictures, holidays, faces. I flipped through them slowly, letting him look. He didn't react until I reached one photo. Daniel. Standing beside me. Smiling. His father's hand twitched, then lifted, just slightly toward the picture. "Son," he whispered. My chest tightened. Do you remember him? I asked. He nodded once. Slow, uncertain, but real. And then he looked at me again, longer this time, studying my face, trying to place me in something he was just beginning to remember. His lips parted. You stayed, he said quietly. I didn't answer, because I didn't know why that hurt so much, until I realized no one else had. The first time he said my name, I wasn't ready for it. Lena, he whispered, like he'd been holding it somewhere deep. I froze. I had never told him. Not once. I stepped closer to the bed. How do you know that? I asked softly. His eyes didn't leave mine. A long time ago. A long time ago. Something about the way he said it made my chest tighten. Not recent. Not even close. I pulled the chair closer and sat down. When was the last time you saw him? I asked. He didn't answer immediately. His gaze drifted again, back to that hallway. Always that hallway. Before this place, he said slowly. He said I needed rest. Rest. I glanced around the room, the blank walls, the quiet, the absence of anything personal. This wasn't rest. This was being put away. Did he visit? I asked. A pause, then a small shake of his head. No time, he whispered. No time. The words felt too familiar. I leaned back slightly, trying to keep my voice steady. And your family? Anyone else? He looked confused for a second. Then, empty. Like the question didn't connect to anything anymore. I had one, he said. I think. I swallowed. You did. Silence settled between us again, but it felt different now. He wasn't just forgotten. He remembered being forgotten. And somehow that was worse, because it meant someone had made a choice, and I was starting to understand exactly who that someone was. I asked Daniel that night, not directly, not at first. We were at the kitchen table, dinner half finished, the TV humming quietly in the background. I kept my voice steady. Have you ever visited your dad recently? He didn't even look up from his phone. No, he said. Why? Too quick. Too easy. I watched him for a second. You used to be close, didn't you? That made him pause, just for a moment. Then he shrugged. Not really. A lie. I'd seen the old photos, heard the stories when we first got married, fishing trips, birthdays, long calls that lasted hours. That wasn't not really. What happened? I asked. He exhaled, annoyed now. Why are you asking about him? There it was. Not sadness, not regret. I held his gaze. Just curious. He leaned back in his chair. He got difficult, he said. After my mom died. Forgetful. Angry. Couldn't take care of himself. So you put him in a home? We had no choice. We. The word felt strange. Do you visit? I asked quietly. Silence. Then, no. Not defensive, not emotional. Just flat. Like it didn't matter. My chest tightened. He asks about you, I said before I could stop myself. That got his attention. His head snapped up. What? I held his gaze now. Every time I see him, the room went still. You've been seeing him? He asked slowly. I nodded. His expression changed, not to guilt, not to relief, something colder. You shouldn't be doing that, he said. And for the first time I felt something shift inside me. Because that wasn't concern, that was control. Control? I repeated quietly. Daniel set his phone down, jaw tightening. You don't understand the situation, he said. He's not who he used to be. I know exactly who he is, I replied. He remembers you. That doesn't mean anything, he snapped. He remembers things that aren't real too. I stared at him. He remembers being left alone, I said. That landed. For a second, something flickered in his eyes. Then it disappeared. We made the best decision we could, he said, voice lower now. You weren't there. You didn't see what it was like. Then tell me, I said. Silence. He looked away. That's what I thought. I stood up slowly. I'm going to see him tomorrow. No. The word came out sharp. Final. I turned back. No? I don't want you involved in this, he said. It's my family. I held his gaze. He's your father. Exactly. And you left him there. His expression hardened. You're crossing a line, Lena. Maybe I was, but something inside me had already stepped over it. Then maybe you should have drawn it somewhere else, I said quietly. He didn't respond, didn't argue, just sat there, staring at me like he didn't recognize who I was anymore. And maybe he didn't, because the woman who used to stay quiet wasn't sitting across from him anymore. The next morning, I went back, not out of habit, not out of curiosity, but because now I needed the truth. And I had a feeling he wasn't the only one hiding it. He was awake when I walked in. Not by the window this time. Sitting upright. Waiting. For me. You came back, he said, clearer than before, stronger. I said I would, I replied, pulling the chair closer. He studied my face for a long moment, then reached for the drawer beside his bed. His hand shook slightly as he opened it. Inside a small, worn envelope, folded at the edges, kept carefully, like it mattered. Yours, he said, holding it out. I hesitated. Are you sure? He nodded once. Was saving it for when someone finally came. The words settled heavy in the room. I took it slowly. The paper felt old, fragile, like whatever was inside had been waiting just as long as he had. Open it, he whispered. I slid my finger under the edge and pulled it apart. Inside a single document and a photo. The photo fell first. Daniel, younger, smiling, standing beside his father, happy. Before everything changed, my chest tightened. Then I unfolded the paper. My eyes moved across the lines once, then again, slower this time, trying to make sense of what I was reading. But I already knew. Deep down, I knew. My grip tightened around the page. Daniel, I whispered. My voice didn't sound like mine anymore, because this wasn't just neglect. It wasn't distance. It wasn't no time. This was something else, something planned, something deliberate. And suddenly everything made sense, including why he didn't want me coming back. I didn't say anything on the drive home. Couldn't. The document stayed folded in my hand the entire time. Like if I let it go, it might stop being real. Daniel was in the living room when I walked in. Same place, same posture, like nothing had changed. But everything had. You went again, he said, not looking up. Yes. Silence stretched between us. Then I stepped closer, placed the paper on the table in front of him. You forgot something, I said. He frowned slightly, finally looked up, then down, at the document. His expression didn't change at first. Then it did. Subtle, but enough. Where did you get this? He asked. I didn't answer, because he already knew. He picked it up slowly, read the first line, stopped, read it again, his jaw tightened. You weren't supposed to see this. Not denial, not confusion, just that. My chest hollowed out. It's your father's house, I said quietly. Transferred to your name. 6 months before he was admitted. He didn't speak. And the medical authorization, I continued. You signed everything, alone. Still nothing. You didn't just leave him there, Daniel. Now he looked at me. Really looked. Cold. Calculated. I did what was necessary. The words landed heavier than anything else. Because there it was. No guilt, no regret, just a decision. I nodded slowly, then stepped back. Then I'll do what's necessary too. His eyes narrowed. What does that mean? I held his gaze, for the first time without hesitation. It means you're not the only one who knows how to finish something. I picked up my bag, walked toward the door. Not angry, not broken, just clear. Because this wasn't about saving anyone anymore. It was about choosing who I was willing to stand beside and who I wasn't.